_MM and #PowerBusiness.
It's 18:22 on Power Business. In our next conversation, I am joined by Asanda Xawuka, who is Executive Manager for Special Economic Zones Business Development at the Coega Development Corporation down in the Eastern Cape. Now, today we got word that Stellantis, that's automotive parent company that owns the likes of brands of Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Citroën, Jeep, Maserati, they've gone on to invest 3 billion rand into the building of a new bakkie at the Coega Special Economic Zone. Asanda, good evening to you. Thank you for speaking to us this evening.
Good evening to you, Nulu, and good evening to the listeners. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, Asanda. This is a great development. Let's talk about possibly first the Development Corporation there, the Special Economic Zone in Coega. What exactly happens there? What sort of economic activity do we expect to come out of that SEZ?
The Coega Development Corporation is the operator of the Coega Special Economic Zone, which is located in Coega in the Eastern Cape, South Africa. The Coega Special Economic Zone is about 9,000 hectares of land. It is the first special economic zone has been established by the government, the democratic government of South Africa. So we have been in operations now for about 24 years. And we basically, our mandate is to champion socio-economic development, ensuring that there is growth within our regions, focusing on investment attraction for both domestic and foreign direct investments. And therefore, in that, with that work, then there's jobs that get created, people that get trained, SMEs that participate, and a lot of work that is done within the special economic zone. So in terms of the sector that we are targeting, it's investments that are in the energy-related sector, that are in the manufacturing sector, agro-processing, automotive, logistics, and business process outsourcing. So basically we are targeting all the various sectors. I think the investment then which you have just mentioned now being the Stellantis is then the automotive sector, which is also one which we are strong in terms of our presence there as the special economic zone.
It's wonderful. This 3 billion rand, Asanda, let's talk about what we hope it will do there at Coega. It is a capital amount, and of course, what jobs we can also expect to come out of the investment.
This week, the Minister of the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, Minister Patel, announced a 3 billion rand investment, which is going to be injected by Stellantis. They are an automaker, very large globally, as you have said. There are the vehicles that fall within that group. You have said it's based like Jeep, Peugeot, Fiat, Alfa Romeo, and a lot of others. Now they are investing, wanting to establish a new manufacturing plant in the Coega Special Economic Zone, 3 billion rand private investment. But government as well will be injecting a 1 billion rand investment into building the actual stop structure or the manufacturing plant that will be used by Stellantis. Now, their production, in annually, they're looking at producing about 50,000 units of their 1T pickup bakkie, but of course, ramping that up to about 90,000 units per annum. But in terms of, up over and above the work that is going to be done there, in terms of the number of jobs that we foresee, which has been confirmed as will be created by this particular investment, is about 600 operational jobs. But of course, as I've said, this is going to be a greenfield investment, which means there's going to be construction. So during the construction phase and downstream within the province, the Coega research team has confirmed that over about 2,100 jobs will be created there. And then in terms of the contribution to the GDP of the province, it will be impacted positively, value ranging about 558 million rand. So which means that, and I think most importantly as well, Eastern Cape is a hub for the automotive sector. I think Coega as well to date houses about 4 large OEMs. So this will be the 5th OEM that's going to be located within Coega, but most importantly as well within Coega. So which means that over and above the automakers themselves, we also foresee that there's going to be the component manufacturers to the OEMs that will also want to come and locate within the special economic zone or even the province to supply these various OEMs. You would also recall as well, for us as Coega, this week has been very big because one of the component manufacturers to the OEMs, being Bentley, they embarked last year investing about 500 million rand into an expansion of their existing plant. They are based in Kariega, located at Nelson Mandela Bay Logistics Park, which is also managed and operated by Coega Development Corporation. Now that investment on its own, which is now the suppliers, which I'm speaking about, 500 million rand injected, it has created about 50 additional jobs. These are ramping up total jobs created in the firm operationally to about 750. So even with this one, while we're speaking of 600 direct jobs, but also foresee that it will be able to attract component manufacturers to the OEMs to also locate within our area.
I must ask you, Asanda, the Coega Special Economic Zone there, and the number of jobs that it's created in total. And the reason I ask is sometimes when we get the quarterly labor force survey for, South Africa, Eastern Cape seems to be lagging behind. But we know there's a lot of economic activity there. So I'm keen just to understand, the role that Coega plays in the overall, economy of the province. But also if you have thoughts and insights about why we are seeing the economy of the Eastern Cape lag behind when we know that there's so much potential and so much going on there.
Coega's contribution when it comes to the uplifting of the economy of the province, for example, for every project that we embark on, Coega always ensures that there is a 30% in construction that is going to be allocated to local SMMEs. We've got as well within Coega an SMME development unit, which ensures that the local contractors, they get their skill, they get developed in terms of skill, they get developed in terms of how to manage projects once those projects are allocated to them, how they manage their finances, how do they plan for the future, such that even when they have a project now, but they can be able to use their money even for greater projects. So even with this one, now that there will be a 1 billion injected in terms of the top structure, so we know for sure that 30% of that should be going to our local SMMEs in terms of the construction sector. But most importantly as well, because this is an area that we focus on, in the previous financial year, we even exceeded the target of 30%. In terms of work allocated to SMMEs as a value, it was in the region of about 40%. But secondly as well, Stellantis as a group has also committed in terms of localization that they will ensure that there's going to be 30% localization, which means in terms of the parts, the components, and other services that they will require within their operations, that 30% of that will be, they will get those services locally. So which means then we do foresee that the project is not only going to benefit Stellantis as a group, but it should be able to boost our local SMEs and local economy.
Very encouraging, Asanda. Thank you for speaking to us this evening. Always rooting for, the Eastern Cape. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Tando. Keep well.
You too. That is Asanda Xawuka. She's Executive Manager for Business Development at the Coega Development Corporation. That's the company that manages the Special Economic Zone there, which is the Coega one. And of course, we are seeing investment there. Always encouraging. Like I said to her when we spoke to her, that Eastern Cape economy lagging behind in terms of employment, in terms of contribution to GDP. It really is something worth investigating some more. It's 18:31. Let's head over to Power News Headlines. Binder Zibonte is there and ready.